Elevation Drops training and presentation.
Awesome. Well, hi, my name is Tom O'Connor. I'm based here in Las Vegas, Nevada, Sin City. Very pleased and very happy to work with you guys with this product, Elevation Drops. My background, I'm 57 years old. I'm very shy. I would have been 58, but my parents were shy too. Anyway, so I've been working on this myself for the last 12 years. My background is somewhat varied. I have that, I did a lot of contract work for a lot of different companies, basically financial services. I was a Series 7 licensed stockbroker with Prudential Securities for a long, long time. Moved to Las Vegas in 2001 with our 9-month-old son, who's now 22. And did a lot of contract stuff, did a lot of things for agencies and groups that led me to a discovery, if you will. Actually, I can get into it. Let me do this real quick. Let me share my screen and I'll show you a little bit of this. My degree, got that, big deal, who cares? Doesn't mean anything. It's here we are today. Some of the people I worked for, I did contract work, subcontract work for, and some fun stuff kind of there. References, basically what this is, I got access to a whole bunch of information, which is phenomenal. I'm going to share it with you guys. They say who cares? I care, which is why I think that I'm engaged with you guys, because back in 2011, I was working on an energy contract down in New Mexico. And it was something pretty spectacular, something meaningful. I've always had an interest in how we can advance this planet and make life better for everybody on it. I come from a very humble family. We're Irish immigrants. My dad didn't even speak English. He spoke Gaelic till he was 19 years old. We're farmers. We went to Catholic school in New Zealand and then in Australia, where I grew up. And I just, when I love America, but I always see how we tend to put profit before people. And that just kind of didn't align with me, still doesn't really align with me, if I'm being honest with you guys. So what I did was I just devoted my life to finding what we could do to make this better. And while I was involved with these guys in New Mexico, I was working on a contract, and I got word from Australia that my brother had stage 4 stomach cancer, and that he was given less than 6 months to live. He was told it was going to be more like 3 months to live, just like the previous presenter. Let me see if I can do that. Nope, just like the previous presenter. Doctors are not in the habit of making people better in America. It seems that you actually get rewarded for keeping people sick. And when I was working with this group, the crazy thing happened was the guy just very nonchalantly, says, here's a liquid. This is not a liquid. This is not wine either. It's energy drink. He just basically gave me a liquid. He gave me a liquid and says, give this to your brother. His cancer will go away. And that was really odd. But I had every reason to believe this guy. So I did. I sent the liquid to my brother in Australia, and he did get better. My life pivoted, and when I met Melissa last weekend, one of the beautiful things that I learned is to rejuvenate the word pivot, because it's life, isn't it? We have to pivot, and we have to make that shift. We have to shift from where we are to where we want to be. We have to see where we want to be, and then we need to be in that place. It makes sense. And because I had been nice to this guy, who is weird person, but I was really nice to him, tolerant, if you will. And he actually sent me back to Vegas with a small vial. I'll show you a picture here on my slides, a small vial of the enzymes that are in the bottom of it, and taught me how to make my first flow through bioreactor. So since 2011, I've dedicated my life to this wonderful supplement. It is not a drug. We're not giving medical advice. We're not diagnosing, treating, or curing any disease. I don't want to run afoul of the US government. I only want this very, very precious liquid to keep helping other people, which is why I'm here with you guys. Because in the last 12 years, I've been approached by different groups, organizations, entities, gangs, mafias even. Happy to go into that over a beer whenever you want. And I've turned them all down, even to the point where I've even lied, saying I don't know how to create the technology, because I don't want it put on a shelf. I don't want it to be hidden. I want this to be available. And through circumstances which can only be called divine, I'm with you guys. And I'm blessed. I met a lot of you last week, and I think this is phenomenal because this is a very precious liquid. The elevation drops. This isn't the elevation bottle. This is just the liquid that I keep myself, and it's in a snoot thing for, for going up your nose even. But you guys have it in drop form. And I'll tell you exactly how to use that here in a minute, and how important it is that you do use it, because it goes into Mr. Prince's presentation that you just had about inflammation, getting the body right, keeping everything in balance, and then elevating it to a state where dis-ease simply can't exist in the host. And that's all that this humble little supplement does. It's very powerful. It punches way above its weight class. I've worked with many doctors, compounding pharmacists, PhMDs, DDs. It was a dentist, but then vets, veterinarians as well, because just like water is essential for all life. We've found that the elevation drops are actually essential for life. And then I'll share with you here in a moment some of the provenance of its origins. And it predates a lot of these diseases that we got. When I say we, mankind, it predates basically mankind even. It goes back to a technology that was only on this planet through natural circumstances more than 65 million years ago. Elements had to come together in place so that, I'm going into my presentation, so that this can exist. Okay, so this just outlines, basically the provenance. I didn't know it back then. These two things, cancer, the leading cause of death in the United States, is one of the leading causes of death in the United States, and also liver disease. And I'm sure you're going to hear from many experts, and I'm not an expert on everything. I stay in my lane. I'm way open to what other people are telling me. All I know is that this isn't a drug. There are no drugs in this. There's nothing off of the shelf from GNC or a pharmaceutical company or anything like that. This, for all rights and purposes, is an element that's out of the earth. And we have been able to recreate the elements in the earth to recreate an environment that this liquid then produces itself, because it does produce itself. What goes into our bioreactors is completely different. It's transformative. Careful not to use the word alchemy, because even though it does change at some almost molecular level, if I haven't done tests and had certain regulatory bodies put a stamp on it, then I can't show it. But I do know that, imagine if you were to put eggs and flour and milk and water and salt and yeast in one end, and then on the other end, a car comes out. It's like, wait, this doesn't make sense. Those are two different things. So we've spent $700,000 with a 6-month study to try and find out what the liquid is. Really important for all of you out there. You need to know just two things, because people are going to ask you, what is it? You can say that Dr. Tom Oconnor in Vegas and his group spent $700,000, which we did. We did a 6-month study with some of the best minds in the world, and they came back with, we don't know. And that while that is a little bit scary, I know why they don't know. I know why they don't know, because this goes so far back that it predates what we knew. And I think it's easy to, I don't know, it's a bit of a head scratcher that I subscribe to. We might have forgotten a lot of knowledge along the way. I think that there's probably tens of thousands of years of knowledge that we don't have anymore for some reason. It's just gone. So this kind of falls in line with that. But what you can tell people is that two very important points, that it is non-toxic. That's a great start. Anybody, probably nobody in this audience has a Coca-Cola in their hand, and this isn't. But if you have a Coca-Cola in your hand, that will not pass the toxology test, by the way. So our product, your product, Elevation Drops, is non-toxic. That means that it will not harm whoever takes it. That's a good start. Secondly, you need to know that it will not interact. And what that means is a bit of a technical term, but it's an easy one to follow. It just means that it's not going to have side effects. When you take drugs, right, it goes after something specific. So whenever it tries to go after something over here, then there's going to be a side effect over here because you need that balance, right? So that's where that side effects kind of comes into play. Well, this will not interact. So if you've got somebody that is going through chemo, if you've got someone that is taking blood thinners or high blood pressure pills or whatever it is, right? This isn't going to interfere with it. I can only speak for myself. I'm not speaking to anybody else, and these are not the opinions of this company, but I would never tell somebody what to do. I will never tell you not to listen to a doctor. I can't tell you what to do. You know, seek professional medical advice, listen to your heart, and do what you need to do. However, having said that, these are a great supplement while you're taking or while you're going through whatever challenges, you know, life's putting on your body. So we have identified that because it helped my brother with cancer, and this was the only thing that he took, it reversed it. We've specifically gone after people with liver issues, and liver issues in the United States are significant. A lot of people with chronic liver issues in the United States and worldwide. And I've got a couple of testimonials that I'm going to share with you here in a little bit. Just as I was explaining earlier about long time ago, we're talking millions and billions of years ago, 4.6 billion years ago, when life on Earth kind of started. That's the providence of this fun little enzyme. So I hope the sound comes through, but I got this off of the History Channel. So this is a gentleman that's holding up a piece of meteorite that is showing that it contains all the building blocks necessary for life. Hang on. And we didn't get sound. Is that on my end? It's okay. We'll see what happens. It's really quick, so we'll do it again.
It's the kind of meteorite that has everything in it to start life. It's the kind of meteorite that has everything in it to start life.
So I said, this is the kind of meteorite that has everything in it to start life.
It's the kind of meteorite that has everything in it to start life.
And that's kind of what we have. On the left-hand side of this image, you'll see that I'm holding the actual vial that has the amount of enzymes in it that I was told when it was presented to me, these enzymes are non-terrestrial of origin. The sexy way of saying it is it's extraterrestrial. The non-sexy way of saying the exact same thing is that 60,000 tons of material hits the Earth every year from space. And us all have been paying taxes, and we've all been paying people that have been researching this. This research has not been shared with us publicly, but we have known about this for a long time. And yours truly here just happened to be in the right place at the right time, working on a non-related project when those enzymes were gifted to me. And that was 12 years ago. And since then, you know, I've had to smarten up and focus solely on this, and also use this for animals. It's also wonderful. Those elevation drops are wonderful for animals. So that on the left-hand side there, when you see those enzymes, I can take just a Q-tip and shake it, and then take the Q-tip back out. And just the dust that's covered the outside of that Q-tip is enough dust for me to create enough liquid that could potentially cure all cancer in Brazil. So I use that in a bioreactor here in Las Vegas. We're about to open up our second bioreactor. It takes about 2 years to come online before a reaction happens and this wonderful liquid is produced. And it supports your body's immune system and elevates you from, whatever you're in, because that's what we're all trying to do, is just get back to balance and elevate. Couple of quick testimonials. This is a dear friend of ours. You're going to see 2 videos in one. The first one here, the smaller one, is Samantha. They're both Samantha, but one was actually about 10 years ago when she started taking it. You'll see a bottle that looks something like this, and she has psoriasis of her skin. And now this is a video that she sent to me last week, and I got it just a few days before the conference here in Las Vegas. But here's Samantha's 90-second testimonial.
Hi, I'm Samantha. I'm 32 years old. I used to suffer very bad from chronic psoriasis, but after using Tom's product, it really helped me clear up my skin. I used to feel very insecure going out and wearing shorts, and now since I've been able to have beautiful clear skin these days, feel confident in any outfit. It really was something that worked, and it was something that I was very excited to use, especially with it being all natural and not having no crazy side effects like they do for a lot of other psoriasis medicines.
All right, and you guys can see these videos, right? Yeah, I see Elizabeth Ann nodding her head. Thank you. Okay, cool. Because I can't hear you, but I'm relying on that feedback. All right, so here's another one. Let's see. Nope. All right, this is a guy in Australia.
Hey, Tommy. It's Cole from Australia. Tommy wanted me to explain that I've been using his Nature's Grace, which I call magic water, for about 3 years now, probably a little bit more, because I suffer from what they call multiple myeloma. And my protein count in my blood is what's causing the major issue. And since I've been taking Thomas's IB1, or magic water as I call it, my actual protein count, which is the bad one, has gone down from 8.4 now down to 4.1. And my oncologist is happy with that because it means it's not going to get any worse. So hopefully Thomas's product will keep on bringing this protein count down, the bad one, and I can continue living a good, healthy life. Thanks again, Tom. Still need more of your product, and I know it's very hard to send to Australia, but it's muchly appreciated. Thanks again, mate.
Yeah, so I call it IB1. We've called it many different things. It'll have more names, but I think we're settling on the elevation drops because it just makes sense. This is a local guy here in Las Vegas. He now lives in Winnemucca. His uncle was the lieutenant governor of the state of Nevada, Lonnie Hammergren, who's been taking it now for 10 years.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Hammergren. This is my 10-year review of Tom's product. Started using Tom's product about 10 years ago. I've been suffering for many years, almost 20 years. Very extreme eczematoid dermatitis, atopic dermatitis. I was first diagnosed in 1993 and tried just about everything to get rid of it. Every type of steroidal antibiotic or steroidal ointment, I apologize. Lots of shots of prednisone, Kenalog, even to a point where I was taking experimental drugs like tacrolimus and methotrexate to fix the problem, and it never went away. I was having an outbreak. I talked to Tom. He offered me his product. I used it for about 6 weeks, and I have not had an outbreak since. I have used his product once since then. It was about 6 years ago, just to try it out and see if there were any other effects. I suffered no side effects from it. I am perfectly healthy. I do everything that I used to not be able to do now. And I fully endorsed Tom's product and hope you give it a try, and appreciate you giving me the time to talk to you. Thanks.
All right, that was Lonnie Hammergren. He was actually honorably discharged from West Point because of his eczema was so bad that his skin broke, and he had spent tens, let's say he did, the government spent tens of thousands of dollars to try and fix it. And yeah, he took the elevation drops for about 6 weeks and it went away and it hasn't ever come back. All right, here's another one there for you. All right, this young man, I'll just let it speak for itself. You guys can see, Elizabeth Ann, I can see you. Can you see the video okay, though? You can see the video? Okay, so you can see young man in the chair? Okay, cool. Thank you so much. All right, I'll play this one.
Hi, I'm Sebastian Horton. I was diagnosed with liver cirrhosis a little over a year ago. Quick background, I had pancreatitis chronic for years, so I was taking acetaminophen, ibuprofen, also drinking for years. During this time, my liver was destroyed. After my diagnosis, I began to see an end-of-life counselor. I was put on the transplant list, really accepting that this was the end for me. I was given a 1 to 4 year timeline with a 25% chance of dying within the next 90 days. At the same time of my diagnosis, January 2022, I reached out to my brother, who's in sales, knew he had been taking IB1 from Tom, and was able to get a hold of my brother and Tom and get a supply. So I had been taking a single dose every day for 2 weeks. Then I switched to every other day for the whole past year. As of last November in 2022, I had received an abdominal ultrasound that had no evidence of cirrhosis on it, which is a medical impossibility. So they kind of just waited it out. Finally, I had another abdominal ultrasound 2 weeks ago, finding out that I have no evidence of cirrhosis once again. So a big heartfelt thank you to Tom. IB1, I truly believe, made the difference and saved my life. Thank you.
I've actually never met this gentleman. I do know his brother, and he told me afterwards that him and his wife and 4 daughters were being counseled for end of life. What's it going to be like when dad's not here? And after taking the product for about a year, complete reversal and no longer any issues with his liver whatsoever. So this is a picture here of my brother in 2011, the one in the middle there. It's with our 2 cousins. This is at Manly Beach in Australia, where we went to school. This shows him in 2013 in the bottom left, and then in 2016. The one on the bottom left, you can see he's walking with a cane. In Ireland, we call that a shillelagh. But he's walking with a cane because he lives in a local little town right on the New South Wales Victorian border in Australia. And when he started to get better, he was shopping and he's walking down a grocery store with bags, plastic bags, walking, and 2 guys jumped him. They jumped him from behind and they give him a kicking, as they say, but they broke his back, saying that he'd never had cancer because people don't recover. You see in that top picture there how jaundiced he was. He was distended. They had lost a lot of weight and he couldn't function properly. So, these are the downsides to good deeds. The previous fellow you just saw, Sebastian, he carries a note with him from his doctor. I actually have his lab work, and it says that the word impossible is on it, that it's impossible to recover from end-stage liver failure. Well, when Pierce first went to the doctor and they wouldn't see him, they told him that there's nothing we can do for you. It's too late for chemo and radiation will kill you. So they gave him 2 phone numbers, one phone number for a priest and the other for palliative care, which in America we call hospice. And they told him to just go get his affairs in order. So the top picture was while he was on what we call walkabout, saying his goodbyes. And that's when I was working in New Mexico and was able to get him the elevation drops. When I sent it to him, sent it to our little brother's house as well, so that he would always have a supply. Pierce swung by the hospital, which is in Albury, New South Wales, on his way home. And when he got back home, they called him up and they said, we need to have you back into the hospital because we screwed up your lab work. And he goes, what do you mean? And they said, well, we can't find your cancer. And he'd only been taking the elevation drops for about 3 weeks and they couldn't find the cancer at all. So he went into the hospital and they kept him there for, I want to say he was in the hospital for about 9 months, which was a miracle in and of itself. Oh yeah, that's my point. On his piece of paper has the word miracle on it from his doctor because he has made a recovery. They didn't treat him. at all. It was the only thing that he did differently was the elevation drops. I think back then we were either calling it Jerry juice, alien juice, moon juice, or Tom's stuff. But here's a quick testimonial that he sent to me via email on Tuesday last week.
My name is Pierce O'Connor. I'll be 58 years old this year, and 12 years past my official use by date. I was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer in 2011. It was a sudden diagnosis from out of the blue, and my health deteriorated extremely rapidly. The doctor said I had no more than 4 months to live. I told this to my brother Tom, who's living in the United States, and he said he was working on a new product over there, and would I like to try it? I had no hope. The doctors couldn't do anything for me. They told me to go home and settle my affairs. I'd be deceased. I'd be dead in 4 months. I had a terminal disease. So really, I had no chances and no hope. I took this preparation that Tom sent me. I went into hospital for a month. After I'd taken that, the doctors drained 20 liters of fluid out of me, and I wasn't expected to leave hospital. While my body was fighting the procedures and fighting the disease, I felt, because I'd taken IB1, I felt that I had more energy, and I didn't feel drained while my body was fighting infections and fighting a disease. IB1 saved my life. The doctors didn't do anything. They said I was beyond their help. I was diagnosed as terminal. IB1 saved me. I can't say what it is, and I can't explain how it did it. Doctors can't explain, and they still don't know. But this is my story, and that's what happened to me. And I'm still here 12 years later, thanks to IB1. Thanks, Tom.
All right. So that still gets me. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Again, this isn't a drug. It's not designed to diagnose, treat, or cure anybody. It is only a supplement. Everything's out of the earth. Everything's out of the dirt, if you will. This is all earth elements. And we've observed through working with medical doctors that they've sent to me this list of benefits, people that have people that have been affected with everything from hangovers, vertigo, diabetes, dermatitis, eczema, poison oak, sty, COVID-19, inflammation, rheumatoid arthritis, even burns. If you burn yourself and you put it on it immediately, it has shown anecdotally to alleviate pain, also internally, because when your body's elevated, then nothing really matters. You're just being the best version of your body, and that's what it's all about. So this is it. In closing, one-of-a-kind supplement. It's not available to the general public, which it's not. We're given exclusive access to the powerful products right through Oconnor, which I'm very, 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 very happy with. You can provide your customers with a unique, life-changing supplement. It's going to help in many ways, including elevate their mood and productivity, quite possibly like never before. I can't say like never before. Your chance to stand out, offer something truly special that nobody else is providing. And, and we've got an excellent price point. The drops themselves, I recommend do 1 teaspoon a day. If you're fighting something, if you've been given an expiration date, something that's life-threatening, the protocol is always the same. You take 1 teaspoon a day for the first 4 days, and then you take 1 teaspoon a day every 2 days, every second day. Okay. That's because your body's mitochondria gets a little bit lazy and you don't want it relying on an external source. Whereas if it's just for overall wellness and balance, just to elevate your day, perhaps, then maybe do a couple of drops directly underneath your tongue, or just a couple of drops in your mouth, and do that like once or even twice a week. You don't have to do it all the time. This liquid is very, very, very powerful. And the providence of it being, so old, if you will, it speaks to a time where everything was kind of correct. And that's what we're looking at doing, is just elevating our own person back to its optimal levels. It's the short version. And you've probably got 1 billion questions. I don't know how we're going to do this, but if you have any questions or something, however you want to do it. Okay. Look, I just on chats. Can you share the suggested servings at the bottom along with the directions? Yes. Okay. So the suggested servings is typically 1 teaspoon a day for the first 4 days. And what I like to do is I like to put it into a shot glass with orange juice, top it up with orange juice, and then do it like that, because it doesn't taste the best, but we're not making candy. The benefits are worth the non-taste. So I mix it with orange juice and then do a shot. Do that once a day for 4 days, and then do it every 2 days. And the bottle that you have there, that would be a 30-day supply. So it's a 1 month supply. That's if you take it every 2 days. If you wanted to just take it for overall wellness, which I strongly encourage everybody to do that. Case in point, my wife is the executive director for the Nevada Psychological Association. She has a very high stressful job. And sometimes when she's putting on events, Melissa, you know what I'm talking about. It's very stressful. You got so many moving elements. So she'll get hives on her hands, stress hives, and then she'll just do 1 shot of it. And then the next morning, they're gone. The hives are gone. So it's a very, very powerful liquid. Is it safe to take with high blood pressure medication? Bitcoin Queen. Okay, shout out to Bitcoin. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, the previous mentioned statement that it has no interactions. So what that means is it will not negatively impact or positively impact. It will not accelerate or decelerate any drugs that your doctors have you on. This ignores all of that. This just goes straight to your DNA and wants to build back your DNA to its optimal state so that dis-ease cannot exist in your host. What's the cost? The cost is a good question. It's already been answered. I need to order that ASAP. 1 teaspoon per day. Yeah, with the ordering things like that, guys, that's not my bag. But I will avail myself. I'll be on here as much as you guys want to have me, because if you have questions, please don't hesitate to put questions in between, helping other people. So yeah, 1 teaspoon per day for the first 4 days, and then 1 teaspoon a day every second day. Okay, every 2 days. How to order and where is from Sam. Can someone answer, Sam? Because I would have to believe it's through your upline. Yes, get back to the person who invited you. Selena, thank you. Okay, cool. Someone asked, what is it? What should we say? Is it available? Okay. When someone asks, what is it? It's a tough question, because I'm not trying to be evasive. If you ask me, Tom, what's in it? I can tell you that it's all elements out of the earth that are so small and minute that by law, we don't have to legally disclose those. There's so many of them that we actually couldn't even count them all. Plus, we did spend $700,000 and we came back with, we don't know what this is. So we can only say that we know it's non-toxic, and it will not interact with whatever your doctor's got you on. It's a supplement. It's kind of like, it's just tell them it's dirt. It's like dirt out of the ground, but it's beneficial because, a lot of us I believe we came, we were created, but we came from the earth, What is it? What should we say? What's the dosage for small animals like cats and larger animals like dogs and pit bulls? Easy. Measure your drops into a container to see what 1 teaspoon is. And if somebody has that or is doing it, that's fine. Let me know right now. Because 1 teaspoon, we've literally just splashed it into their food. Just 1 teaspoon into their food, just splash it in there. And I work with vets and they're amazed, because most animals, you have to like hold their nose and that, you have to push it down and hide stuff in a hot dog. And you don't have to do anything like that, because animals recognize that this is good. Do you use topically for psoriasis? You absolutely can use topically for psoriasis. My friend Samantha, Lonnie, and other people, they have not. They just take it internally. But I've since learned since then, because I worked with the guy who was on the DOD, that It works topically as well. So it is topically awesome. Can it help with dementia? I don't have an answer for that. I'd be lying to you, Rachel, if I said yes, because I haven't encountered that before. Our wheelhouse is the autoimmune system, is your immune system, from HIV, AIDS to rheumatoid arthritis with inflammation to there was somebody that had, I want to say it was multiple sclerosis, but they had paired it with CBD. But for dementia, I really don't have that. I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. Immune disorder, Selena. Yes, 100%. With autoimmune related issues are our wheelhouse, 100%. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Thomas. It's available on the website. Look at that, $119.90, $119.95. Can someone on dialysis take it? Absolutely. It's not going to hurt you. It is non-harmful. How can you mass produce something that you don't know what's in it? They said they don't know what to call it. Okay, so how do I produce something that I don't know what's in it? I have all of the elements. All of the elements that I have were given to us by God. They're all earth elements, all created from the earth. And what I do is I assemble them in a very specific way, and I control certain elements like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, what am I missing? Carbon. And I gestate those like, like putting it into an oven type of thing in a bioreactor. And then after a long period of time, the liquid comes out. So when people have tried to reverse engineer it and they can't figure it out. I could go on for another hour about that right now. But that's how I mass produce something that I know. And when I know it's right is it has a smell to it. So when it's ready, it smells. 1 teaspoon as the dropper. There you go. Oconnor videos to everyone. Thanks. So a teaspoon is the dropper. How many servings are there in a bottle? I was going to ask about multiple sclerosis. Mic drop. Is that my cue to stop or something? I don't know. But how many servings per bottle? I'll figure that out for you right now. And other than that, I think that we're good. So, okay, so it's 3 ounces is going to give you, 17 teaspoons. So you back out the first 4 days. So it says 17 teaspoons, right? And by taking it every 2 days, you're looking at 34 days. So it's a 30-day supply, right on the money. All right, multiple sclerosis and glaucoma. Somebody that has had glaucoma has benefited from this. I do this for a fact. I don't have testimonials, but I do know that MS was a tough one. We did have several people with MS in Colorado, but see, okay, so I started a company that kind of full arced in the last 11 years, and I've just gotten back in contact with them. They've gone after the agricultural side with this because, truth be told, it's actually a wonderful soil conditioner as well. People that are growing plants, this helps plants come back to life. Don't get too excited. So does water, but that's another story altogether. And then it is multiple sclerosis was put with CBDs. And people have had benefits with that. And maybe that's something we can develop moving forward. Lupus loves lupus. Lupus people love lupus. I had a whole month dedicated to lupus with the elevation drops once. So absolute lupus and Lyme disease, non-specific. It's great. Grew cartilage back. I don't know about that. A couple more. Are there directions on the bottle? And yes, there are. That's it. Mic drop. Bam. Anybody else with one last question? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. And thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been great. I love it. All right. It doesn't look like we have any more questions. And go out there. If you have questions, please. And you're very welcome. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you. That means more to me than most people know. Can children take it? Kind of, yeah. But try not to because they're still developing. Unless they have to. I have a friend in Sweden. She gave it to her daughter who couldn't sleep. She was 12. It worked.
Okay, guys, that was amazing. Let's give it up for Dr. Oconnor. Okay, we're gonna switch our microphone. So we're gonna go off mic for a second here. But guys, that was amazing. Let's blow up the chat for our awesome Dr. Oconnor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Margaret.
All right. Give it up again, you all, for Dr. Oconnor.